Hello, YouTubers. Joe Kersey here. No, I've not been huffing coke. It's just I'm trying to keep the snot from running down the back of my throat without having to take more Benadryl. Yes, Joe Kersey here on Sunday, December 17th at 2040 Eastern Time. Now, this has been a bit of an odd day. Now, my friend Tony Ballman, Tony BZ, and my other friend Tamara, who are over in Yellow Springs, Ohio, they've said, flip on the Skype. This was about mid-afternoon. So I tried to, but Skype didn't really recognize me. It bounced. I've got a MacBook Pro, mid-2014 model. Bounce. So I knew what was going to happen. They wanted me to sign up for a new account. We don't recognize this. More to the infuriating point, it said. How did they phrase this? Microsoft does not recognize you. Well, fine by me, because I don't want to be recognized by Microsoft. Thank you very much. Because I don't have to install about 20 fans on my computer to run and hum all the damn time. Okay, fine. So I knew I didn't fuck around with it much more. I just deleted Skype and I reinstalled it from Time Machine. It worked fine. Now, there was a bit of a 4 or 5 minute delay in all that little thing, in addition to all the swearing that went out into the universe. But I do like the taste of my own snot going down the back of my throat. So it's like that line from Apocalypse Now. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. I love the taste of my own snot going down the back of my throat. Okay. Well, Tamara's came over, but she's also, as all physicians do, they do a certain amount of CME stuff, self-studies things, and I do mine in March. I do 50 hours of it worth in, because you have to do 50 hours of it each year in Ohio. I do that in March, so March is sort of like, half my time is devoted to the CME stuff, and half the other time is like devoted to foolishness. Half the time, you say, Joe? Okay. Well, so most of Tamara's questions were, she uses it the way you're supposed to use it. You're supposed to use it to stretch what you do beyond what you do. Meaning, like, if you don't routinely do this stuff all the time, you want to learn more about stuff if you ended up having to be confronted with stuff. And yeah, exactly. And a lot of these things are really arcania. Well, yeah, it was arcania in terms of, a general physician doesn't have to think in these ways. It had to do with like the oddball corners of cardiology management, specialty cardiology management. That's okay to know about. Obviously you want to know about that. Which shifts because, it's like somebody does a study, somebody does another study. Sometimes it's replicated, sometimes it's not. That's how science works. That's how medicine works. At least we're not, finding a new variety of leeches. Actually, though, sometimes you can find a new variety of leeches because some of the newer varieties of leeches, you can put them on wounds and will stop the blood from clotting and it will help them heal. Back to the Future, huh? It's like putting honey in wounds. Hypertonic glucose or fructose, as is found in honey, will prevent bacteria from growing in wounds. It's like the Greeks had a word for it. It was a mellifluous thing. Well, mellifluous means sweet, as in honey. But then there was a similar word from that same root that dealt with how they put honey in wounds to keep them from getting infected. Now, obviously, they didn't know the science behind that, but they knew it worked. Sometimes it pays to read those ancient documents, guys. Sometimes they saw stuff we don't bother to try to look at because we poo-poo it. Okay. So now today I got a really great email from my former history instructor, Helen Weinland. Now she was in Boston, and then she moved down to a sort of a living facility. It's not like an assisted living thing. She's quite functional. In fact, she had the right attitude toward it. She said, as long as I'm functional, I want to move while I'm still functional. And she had done a huge amount of time, career length of time in the U.S. Foreign Service. Spent most of her time in Africa, I think. But then she also saw time in Czechoslovakia in the late 70s. When the commies were really being mean again. And she describes that very clearly. And then she ended up in Berlin when the Berlin Wall fell. And now I've mentioned this book before, Living Abroad with Uncle Sam, Foreign Service Days, Helen Weinland. It's self-published. But let's just see if there's some details on this. But I'll tell you, I'm not flacking for her because she was one of my favorite history instructors. But yeah, I'm flacking for her. And she needs a break here. So 2003 by Helen Weinland here. I'll show that up here so you can focus in on that. She's a good soul. She was a great teacher. Oddly enough, she taught like 19th century U.S. history, which I don't think she gave a fuck about. But she was good at it, and that was history 122. But after that, then you can develop a certain intellectual thing. I became friends with a number of people in the history department at that stage of the game, and yeah. There are a couple other people I'd like to catch up with, but I don't know. There's a lot of privacy issues and shit, Anyway, she sent out her Christmas letter, and it was on a Pages format or something. And she thought that viruses were coming in with it. Well, I opened it. It was no problem for me. But if she thinks that's the case with other people, then it's probably true, because she has far more experience of this stuff than I do. She's a wonderful soul, and I don't think she watches my stuff. I've sent her links to a couple of stuff I've done, particularly her 200. Well, she's a fellow aficionado of English Reformation history and the U.S. Episcopal Church and so forth. And so she sang in a choir that went over and sang over in Westminster Abbey and so forth when she was in Boston. Now she's down outside of Maryland. Well, not outside of Maryland. She's in Maryland, but she's outside of Washington, D.C. God bless you, Helen. I wish you nothing but the best. I almost feel like I've fallen asleep, but I know I haven't because it's only quarter till 9. Oh, I know what happened because about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Tony Ballman and Tamara Skyped me, and I said I had to reinstall the thing. If I didn't, I had to reinstall Skype. And then Tamara and I basically sort of did CME questions for about an hour, and I would have been delighted to keep going with it. But that gets boring for people that aren't physicians and don't have a financial stake in this kind of thing. But nonetheless, I mean, I think Tony and Tamara were getting kind of tired of that. No, not Tony Pynchon, but Tony Ballman. Tony Ballman had found one of these great, huge Webster dictionaries that are about this thick. Yeah, really about this thick. You used to see them in every library. Real ball crushers. You didn't dare try to put them on your lap. I mean, you'd be sterile. If you put that bad boy on your lap. Either that you had really small nuts, and they hid between your legs or something. I just say that. It's true, though. We always speak the truth in love and peace here on the Joe Kersey show. I'm very serious. I know I sound sarcastic, but I'm very serious. I try to speak truth, peace, and love. I have a little bit more of this stuff. I really do. I mean, there's no way around it. This is South African Shiraz here. I'm going to get up and tell you about it here in a minute. Well, not a minute. This is the Jim Olsen South African. Well, it says California. What the hell? Oh, I must have drunk the. Oh, I drank the South African stuff last night. This is some sort of Californian stuff. I was wrong, guys. I did not mean to mislead you. God takes care of fools and bastards. I'll tell you. As I told these people down at the testing center the other day, I get around okay, but am I kind of clumsy? Hell yeah. Well, they didn't ask me if I was clumsy. Maybe they ought to add that to their questionnaire list. They ask you everything else except your dick size. You don't have to ask that, just take a look. It's a grower, not a shower, that kind of thing. That would be one of the answers. Click here. It's like the clicking, the computer stuff. Okay, well, we'll see. I don't know. It sounds like Tony and Tamara aren't going to come over, but if they do come over, they're more than welcome at any time. And I actually have the beds all laid out for them if they want to stay, and so we're good to go. So no problem. Come on over, we'll do that. And then as far as this little soiree tomorrow with Thomas and Kelly and vis-a-vis his mother, and I hate this kind of shit. You guys have no idea how much I hate this kind of crap. Life is for the living. This kind of crap is for the dead. If you haven't appreciated the people who are dead while they were living, then shame on you. I'm going to stand by that statement. It would be nice to have a lot of people stand around and sing songs that I like and read my favorite psalms and about, well, at least two New Testament readings. You know, Romans 8 and Romans 8 and John 14. And well, actually, here's a third New Testament reading. You know, Revelation 7 and Revelation 21. I guess 4 New Testament readings. And my favorite psalm is Psalm 139, by the way. And it's the entire psalm, not the pussified, politically correct version where they cut out the last 2 or 3 verses. I'm using, of course, the Coverdale version from the 1662 prayer book. Well, we've gotten a bit overheated. Anyway, so Helen says that she's had people opening her emails about her Christmas letter and getting, you know, viruses coming in. Well, I can't say I had that coming in. I did do a big purge of my hard drive last night, which I don't know. I really seriously don't think anything came in on her stuff. Now, Helen, I like Helen. I really like Helen. Well, not. I shouldn't speak about that in past tense. I like Helen. I hope she's having a good. Well, I don't think we have a good time in this. Well, I don't know, maybe she can. I mean, she's hell's fire. She was over in Central Africa during all this Rwanda stuff. You know, if you want to get a handle on what Rwanda's going on right now, or happened, you know, earlier in the decade, read her book. And if you want to realize and see how horrible the commies were in people's countries that they occupied, like Czechoslovakia, read her book. If you want to get a verbal interpretation of the horrible, almost getting ready to throw up out of their eyes sensation that the people in East Berlin were exuding when my friend and I, Brad and I, went over there in 1971, read her book. She's an amazingly articulate, straightforward individual. If I were straight, but I'm not straight, so. I'm sorry, Helen, that just slipped out. I'm not sorry either, because, you know, I mean, if I were straight, then you and I know what we're talking about on that. That's not, that's an assumption on my part. It is. It is. I know I always make everything sound. Did I just say that? It's true, though. And that Volkswagen of yours? Yeah, that was a neat Volkswagen. I like that. No, that's not the right way. I mean, Helen Weinland was one of my favorite instructors, one of my favorite intellectual sort of like ideals, and still is for that matter. Our politics are very different, but but not that different, because I'm very libertarian and I'm very libertarian. And I think she's basically libertarian, too. And in that case, politics shouldn't stand between friends. They shouldn't. Well, I hope this it sounds like your living situation is working out. That makes it sound like someone's coming in and giving you a bath. I don't think that's the case. But it sounds like a place that if you had to have someone come in and give you a bath, they would. Which is not bad. Not a bad thing to have in the background, is it? Oh, wow. Ever since I fell to the fire pit, my eyes are way out of level, aren't they? Like, how did I do that? Well, I hope you find your Episcopal church. I really do. Because the Episcopal church nowadays is so full of BS. A lot of the churches are. I don't know how traditional you are compared to, say, a hardcore Protestant. I think you're probably a little farther down to the permissive end than I am. But so much of this stuff anymore is couched as sexual shit. And really, for me, it's never been about sexual stuff. It's been about theology and taking the Bible literally, except it's more, how should we say, idiotic areas. Because people like to go down that slippery slope. Oh, well, if you say it's idiotic here, then, they evoke the slippery slope argument. I've never been a fan of the slippery slope argument. We'll see. In other words, if you're going to do something, but don't make a big deal about it, and certainly don't talk about it on the internet. Well, on the other hand, it's fun to be on the internet. No, get this book. Buy this book. Buy this book. Actually, she doesn't look too different. She looks that's a pretty good drawing of her, actually. She was a really wonderful, well, not was, I don't know why I'm saying was. She's a wonderful soul. Hell, she survived Africa for about 20 years. I mean, she's got to have a hell of a resilient immune system. God bless you, Helen. Merry Christmas. Buy Helen's book. It's a great read. And I'll tell you, it gives you a lot of insight into when the communists, finally left Eastern Europe. It also tells you a lot about how the communists treated people who were there in Czechoslovakia in the mid-70s. Not just foreign service officers. It's like that society that they turn everybody into a spy. They talk about the Stasi from East Germany. I think the same things in Czechoslovakia yet. And I think that still hasn't yet to be worked out. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, Helen. Anyway, I hope this sort of, as we say, sure living facility works out. I do. I hope I have the balls to give up what I love to go to one of those joints at some point rather than cling to, I don't know, why am I saying? Anybody who knows me knows I'm not going to do that. They're going to have to carry me out while I'm clawing to the side walls. So I don't know why I'm saying. Well, I'm saying that to try to sound sensible. Fuck sensible. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself. Really, honestly, I am but a simple country anesthesiologist. Flying my tree. Okay, I need to shut up now. All right, so I don't think my buds are coming over. Well, if they do, fine. If they don't, fine. And I haven't figured out yet what I'm going to do this little faux wake thing tomorrow. I wouldn't mind it so much as if it weren't at the Villanova. I hate the Villanova. What a bunch of crap. Although the great thing is, as I said, if they take her ashes to the Villanova, seeing as how she was banned at the Villanova, they can come in and say, "Look, ha ha ha! She was banned at Villanova, but now she's here, ha ha!" I don't know if they're going to do that. I probably won't. Well, I know they won't because my son doesn't like to make a scene. Now, unlike his mother, who had no problem making a scene, I didn't like her making a scene. Well, it's okay to make a scene occasionally, but she did routinely. Every time you went to a restaurant, you knew there was going to be a scene, which meant that you were sort of going to consume your food hastily and get the hell out of Dodge. Why did she do that? Why did she do that? I don't know. That's what she did, though. Be careful who you have children with. Well, I wasn't planning to have children. I'm delighted I had this children. Meanwhile, I may as well make it all in one big long thing. My sister, God bless her, emailed me. No, she didn't email. She sent me a letter, and I read it. It was a handwritten letter. No, this wasn't one of these handwritten letters that looked like it was handwritten, and computer generated. This was a handwritten. You could tell by document sort of, analysis. I may be full of shit. She's probably watching this right now, saying, "Ha, I fooled him." Doesn't matter though. I'll make a separate video responding to this, and it was very nice for her to deal with me and send me that letter. Really was. I mean, really, even it wasn't a real handwritten letter, but it seemed like a handwritten letter. Okay. Yeah, I was very kind of her. We'll see. Well, yeah, it is. I'll talk about that here in a few minutes, but not on this. Okay. I don't know what you can hear of that blower back of me. I sure hope this guy doesn't smother my ass on Thursday. Don't smother me. Don't make me a vegetable. Do not render me a vegetable, please. The world does not need another aubergine or eggplant. I mean, I understand that the eggplant symbol is on the gay dating sites used as like, "I got a big dick for you" thing. It's just so boring. Big dicks are big dicks. Dicks are dicks. It's what the guy attached to him does with you as far as being affectionate and caring and kissing you and holding you and being kind to you and that sort of thing. Yeah, that's what it's. Nobody has a symbol for somebody being kind to you. Nobody has a symbol for an emoji for being kind. Nobody has an emoji for kissing you deeply, 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 kindly, repeatedly. No, there's no. Is there an emoji for that? See, I'm not into emoji culture. Maybe there is. Uh, Nobody has an emoji for having your face up some guy's hairy behind over and over and over again, trying to find his reclusive behind his hole, which he has held forever and ever. Amen. I don't know, in the purity. What are you saving this for? God Almighty. What? Uh, Sam and I were showering in San Francisco, and I slipped that finger up, and he wasn't expecting that. I just kept it in there, and he turned and looked at me. He wasn't any too happy. I said, "I bet you weren't expecting that, were you?" No, I was not. Said, "You want me to take it out?" Well, I says, "No, not really now." Yeah, I miss this guy. I'm gonna miss this guy. Well, I'll shut up about it. Well, I told my sister about it. I would probably bore the fuck out of her, but I told her about it. I'm gonna I'm gonna stop here for. I guess I can always splice these bastards together. Okay. Good